Okay, let's go.
Yo, what is up, everybody? It is your host, Aiden, and welcome to Around the Rim Radio. Is Nikola Jokic the best player in the league? Do the Los Angeles Lakers need a trade for more defense and athleticism? Steph Curry beats Klay Thompson again, and the Cavs fall to the Knicks. All right, everybody, let's get into the NBA Christmas Day recaps from yesterday. We're going to start off with the first game here. We had Cavaliers at Knicks. So as you guys can see here, the New York Knicks did end up beating the Cavaliers 126 to 124, which puts the Knicks at 21 and 9 and the Cavaliers at 17 and 15. So yeah, the Cavaliers fell to the Knicks yesterday on Christmas. So you can see here that the Cavaliers ended the first quarter up 15. They lost the second quarter by 17. So that means that they went into halftime down 2. They come back out, and after the third quarter, they won the quarter by 14. So they're up 12 going into the fourth quarter, where they then lose the fourth quarter by 14 to make them lose by 2. So what this kind of tells me, kind of just looking at the score by quarter, is that the Cavaliers got out to an early start. They got off to an early heater. The Knicks fell behind early, and they just stayed consistent throughout the game and clawed their way back as the Cavaliers just dropped off. I mean, they had a 38 point first quarter and a 38 point third quarter, but you can see the second quarter and fourth quarter are below 30, and they only scored 20 in the second. So looking here for the team stats, the Cavaliers did actually shoot better than the New York Knicks, but you can see here that the Knicks shot 94 to the Cavaliers 86 shots. So that is 8 more shots up on the rim that the New York Knicks got than the Cleveland Cavaliers, which makes me want to look at the turnovers. But the Cavs only had one more turnover than the Knicks. I mean, 14 in a game's honestly not awful. So, it just seems like the Knicks kind of had longer possessions. They controlled the pace a little more. Or I'm sorry, the Cavs had longer possessions since they, shot less shots. So, that's not really a big deal there in terms of things for the Cavaliers. I mean, they shot a better percentage. Then we moved down to the 3-point percentage, and the Knicks did shoot about 3.5% better there from the 3-point line. They shot 10 more threes, and they also made 6 more threes than the Cleveland Cavaliers. So 34 threes in a game, that's not a whole lot shot. The Cavaliers are, really a paint team. When you got Allen, you got Mobley, Donovan Mitchell likes to get into the paint. So nothing really too surprising there, but you're not going to win a lot of games when you make 6 less threes than your opponent. And then we go to the free throw battle, which was very even here in terms of free throws shot. Cavaliers shot 23, the Knicks shot 22. The Cavaliers did shoot 82.6% to the Knicks 77.3%, so the Cavaliers overall won that battle there. Total rebounds 45 to 33. The Cavaliers won. Offensive rebounds 3 for the Knicks, 9 for the Cavaliers. So as we go back to the field goal discrepancy, that is 3 more possessions right there than for the Knicks than what the Cavaliers would have got. Defensive rebounds, the Cavaliers won that battle. Assists was pretty even. Blocks, 4 to the Cavaliers, 0. So, obviously it was a close game. It's not like it was a blowout overall, but it was definitely blowout quarter by quarter. The Cavaliers, they should have won this game. This was a very bad loss on the Cavaliers side of things, especially after Donovan Mitchell just talked about how the Cavaliers are not playing like a playoff team. It really does suck to see them come out here and get off to such a good start, and they just lose it all in the end. Overall, very bad game for the Cavaliers. This was a must win in my opinion. You're 17 and 14. You're in New York on Christmas. Donovan Mitchell just called his team out, and they lose I believe, 17-point lead. That can't happen. That's unacceptable. If I was the Cavaliers coach, I would be livid. All right, and next we have the San Antonio Spurs at the Oklahoma City Thunder. This game did and did not surprise me. It surprised me because I know how great the Thunder are. They're 26-5. When they play against any other team in the league besides the Spurs, they are 26-2. So I mean, they're 0-3 against the Spurs this year. That is just absurd with how great of a team OKC is. I am just very shocked, especially that none of the games have really been close. But yeah, none of the games have been close. I believe the first one might have been. So the fact that this was a blowout is just crazy to me. And I mean, looking at the Spurs box score here, you had De'Aaron Fox with 29 points, 3 assists, and 4 rebounds. That's a great game overall. And then Wemby just does Wemby things. You know, he had a double double here with 19 and 11. He did only have one block for Wemby in this game, but you know, Wemby just decides to do Wemby stuff whenever he needs to. And this was a great game by Wemby overall, but De'Aaron Fox really stepped up this game on Christmas. You know, he hit a couple threes. He had 3 threes made. That's just overall great. And I think that the San Antonio Spurs core, just kind of like their role players as well, they just fit great. I really like Devin Vassell, even though he didn't have the best game. Harrison Barnes is a sniper. He's lights out from three. Luke Cornett's a solid backup. Stephon Castle is amazing. He was amazing last year, and he is just continuing to be amazing this year. So overall, great game from the Spurs. For the Thunder, you know, there wasn't too many bright spots. You know, I mean, everyone was negatives besides Jalen Williams this game. Jalen Williams only had 12, 2, and 6. Lou Dort didn't really do much. Shea had 22, 6, and 4, but you know, that's not really a crazy game from Shea. I mean, not bad, but not, you know, minus 15 on the game. That's not what you want to see. Hartenstein did have a good game. He had a 13 and 12 double double, so that's a good thing that you see there. And then moving over to the stats, I mean, look at this field goal difference. San Antonio shot 53.5% to Oklahoma City's 38.9%. 39% if you want to call it, and I'm rounding up to get there. And then you move down again. They both made 11 threes, but the Spurs were way more efficient. They shot 37.9% to the Oklahoma City Thunder's 25%. Yeah, you're not going to win a lot of ball games, if any basketball games, shooting 39% from the field and 25% from three. That is just not going to get the job done. And it just gets worse as you go down. Free throw difference is right here. You got 17 for 25 from OKC, 16 to 21 from San Antonio. So San Antonio again won the free throw battle, not in terms of how much that they shot, but I mean just efficiency. They made 16, shot 21. The Thunder shot 25 but made one more free throw at 17. So another win column there for the Spurs. Total rebounds was pretty even, 49 to 48 Spurs. Then you have offensive rebounds, which actually was won by the Thunder. That was 16 to 10. Defensive rebounds, 39 to 32 for San Antonio. And then as you just go down, you know, the Spurs did turn it over more than the Thunder. The Thunder only had 7 turnovers this game. That's very good. They don't turn the ball over a lot. They're a team, and this is why OKC is great. They're a team that is not going to turn the ball over, but they're going to make you turn the ball over. So I kind of feel like they're kryptonite, which I think San Antonio does overall pretty well, is kind of hold on to the basketball. De'Aaron Fox doesn't come off. You know, he's not a super high turnover guy. Wemby can get up there in turnovers, but the way that he plays, he's not turning it over a whole lot. So only 12 turnovers for the Spurs this game. That's a good thing that you want to see on the Spurs side of things. And then, yeah, largest lead. I mean, San Antonio led by 17. They end up winning by 15. So that's a good thing on San Antonio's part. That's exactly what you want to see. And the Spurs just cause problems for the Thunder. And it's because of Victor Wembanyama. Wembanyama is going to cause problems for all of the basketball teams that are ever going to play in the NBA while Wemby is in the league. I don't care if you add an expansion team, you bring back Seattle, all the players in the league, they are going to be tortured by Victor Wembanyama. His length, his size, his athleticism, his shooting. I mean, just everything about him is just impeccable. And I know that he's a great player, but for him to do this to the Thunder 3 times is truly impressive. I really want to see how OKC bounces back and how they respond to San Antonio. I believe that they see them one more time this year. So I'm going to be very intrigued to definitely watch that game because, I want to see if OKC can beat the Spurs. And if they can, how will they do it? Will it be blowout fashion? Will it be, a 1 point game? Is it going to be a deserving win? So I'm very, very intrigued to see how that game goes. And I cannot wait to watch their next matchup. All right, next for one of the later games on Christmas Day, we have the Dallas Mavericks at the Golden State Warriors. So the Golden State Warriors beat the Dallas Mavericks 126 to 116, so a 10-point lead there. The Mavericks again, I mean, Cooper Flag had a great game. He really showed a lot of flashes this game on his first ever Christmas Day game. He had 27, 6, and 5, so that is a really good game there from him. I'm glad to see him have a good game. He, had made 13 shots, made a 3, had a block in 36 minutes. So that was a really good game from Cooper Flag. I know they didn't get the win, but you like to see it. And then Brandon Williams had 26 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists in only 30 minutes. So Brandon Williams definitely stepped up this game. That was a really good game to see from him. He probably saw, hey, it's Christmas, let me show out a little bit, and he definitely did. So but other than those two players, not a whole lot of bright spots. PJ Washington continues to be good. He had a 14 and 10 double double last night for the Dallas Mavericks. So that's a good sign there, but not a lot to take away from the Mavericks. They got down 12 pretty early into the game, only lost the quarter by 1, so they were down 13 going into the half. They did respond well in the third quarter, but they only won by 2, or won the quarter by 2, and then only won the fourth quarter by 1. They did have a bunch of runs actually in the fourth quarter. They kept, they were down 8, 10, 12, and they'd get it down to, if it was a 12-point game, they'd get it down to 7, and then they'd get down to 6, and then they'd go back down 10. Then they'd get it down to 6, then they're back down 11. Then they'd get it down to 6. You get what I'm saying. So, they kept making their runs, but they just couldn't get really any ground gained on the Golden State Warriors this game. And then moving over to the Warriors sides of things, I mean, Jimmy Butler had a very well all around game. He had 14, 9, and 9. He was playing with the triple double there, just needed one more rebound and assist. So good game from him, plus 14. You like to see that if you're a Warriors fan. Quentin Post didn't get a whole lot of minutes, even though I think he's been good for the Warriors. Again, Moses Moody, 30 minutes, 12, 2, and 2. That's a good sight from him. Steph Curry on Christmas, 23, 3, and 4. Did a good. He had a decent game. He only had 6 field goals made. I'm not sure how many he shot. I know that he was the leading scorer this night, but I really do think that Jimmy Butler was the best player. He looked great defensively. He was rebounding. He was passing. He wasn't super high on the scoring side of things anyway, but no one really was. It was a very well all around effort for the Warriors as a squad. I'm very impressed with DeAnthony Melton, 16, 3, and 3. He's coming off that injury, so it's very good to see him get into a rhythm and get scoring the basketball because I know that he is a good scorer. And then shout out to Pods this game as well. He had 13, 8, and 4. That is a well-rounded game from him. And then even Gary Payton had 6, 5, and 5. Again, that's a great well-rounded game. Only 15 minutes on the court, but he came in and gave you, 6, 5, and 5. You can't ask for any more. And yeah, Stephen Curry, he had 23, 3, and 4. He was a -3 on the game, which is okay. A couple other players were. Can't really look at that stat a whole bunch, because it's a very sensitive stat. But yeah, I mean, I'm very impressed with Stephen Curry and the Warriors. This was a good win. The Mavericks did lose Anthony Davis pretty early due to a adductor injury, a hip injury, groin, something like that. So, there's no saying how this game would have played out if Anthony Davis was healthy. But yeah, very well all-around game for the Warriors, and they definitely deserve this win on Christmas. Okay, and now moving over to, sad to say it, my Los Angeles Lakers from last night's game. They got absolutely annihilated by the Houston Rockets last night. They lost 119 to 96. I don't know why they're not showing every scoring from every quarter. But I mean, you can look in the third quarter, they outscored us by 5. Let's just go to the stat box, which is not filled out fully as well. But Sengun had 14 points. You know, he didn't really go crazy. But it was really Amen Thompson. Amen Thompson had 26, 7, and 5. And that is just not surprising. You know, obviously, Amen Thompson is a very, very good player. He is going to be a very good player, and he is going to be for a long time. Amen Thompson went off against the Los Angeles Lakers last night on Christmas because the Los Angeles Lakers simply lack a lot of athleticism. I mean, you go down the list. Luka Doncic, not athletic. Austin Reeves, not athletic. LeBron James is or was not as athletic as he was. He's 40, going on 41 years old. Rui Hachimura, not athletic. DeAndre Ayton is athletic for a big man, but he's not an athletic player that the Lakers need. And then you even go down to the bench. I mean, Marcus Smart, he's kind of athletic, not really. He's kind of older, injury prone, so he's not what he used to be. Jared Vanderbilt is athletic. You know, he can get up there and jump and fly around. But again, I mean, Amen Thompson, just a different athlete. Jabari Smith is athletic. Tari Eason's athletic. Josh Okogie's athletic. You know, all these players are very athletic. Dorian Finney-Smith, not as much as he used to be, but still has some athleticism to him. But back to the Lakers, Jake LaRavia is not athletic. The most athletic player they have on the wing side of things is probably Adu Thiero, their rookie. But if you're going off players who are playable and who will play, it's Jared Vanderbilt. Outside of him, they don't have any athleticism, which is why the Lakers are looking to target players like Herb Jones from the Pelicans or Keon Ellis from the Kings. And they're also looking at players like Andrew Wiggins. He is a lot more expensive. He is older than a lot of those players that I just named, like Herb Jones and Keon Ellis. So there is no saying, you know, who is going to be on the Lakers, if the Lakers are going to make a trade. Do they need to make a trade? I think they do. Will they make a trade? I think they will. I think they're going to land Keon Ellis or Herb Jones. I don't think they'll get Andrew Wiggins. But, I mean, the Rockets are a good team. I would say they are the better team. Not even just last night, but overall, just because the Lakers lack so much three-point shooting and so much athleticism. You really need those 3-and-D players like a Tari Eason, like a Jabari Smith. I mean, you really need those players to win basketball games. And I look in here, Jabari Smith didn't even play, so they didn't even go against him. But again, I mean, those players are just going... When you have those players, when you have those athletic 3-and-D wings and you go against a team who is non-athletic and does not have 3-and-D wings, that 3-and-D wing team is going to win 10 times out of 10. The Lakers can't run as fast. They can't run as long. They can't jump as high. They can't move. I mean, just everything the Rockets do, the Lakers can't. But everything the Lakers do, the Rockets can. So the Rockets are just going to exploit the Lakers' weakness every single time that they play because they're so athletic and pretty much everyone on that team can shoot. Amen Thompson can't shoot the three very well, but he can run and jump and make those layups and dunks and mid-ranges all day. So at the end of the day, that is what killed the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm not impressed with the Lakers. I am impressed with the Rockets. They went out and did exactly what they needed to do on Christmas Day. Very disappointed in the Lakers. I'm really hoping to see a bounce-back game, bounce-back week, month, or bounce-back year. JJ Redick was not happy. He said that he is not doing another 52 games like this. The conversation is going to be uncomfortable, was what JJ Redick said. So we'll have to see how that all plays out, and we'll see if the Los Angeles Lakers can bounce back. All right, and let's move over to the Minnesota Timberwolves at the Denver Nuggets. This was a really good game. The Timberwolves fall to 20-11 as the Denver Nuggets shoot up to 22-8. So, I mean, close game in the first, close game in the second. Denver ran away where they won the third quarter by 12, and then the Minnesota Timberwolves won the fourth quarter by 14. And then in overtime, the Denver Nuggets outscored the Timberwolves 27 to 23 to give them a 4-point win, which resulted 142 to 138. So we'll start with the Minnesota Timberwolves here. We got Jaden McDaniels had 21, 4, and 4. Good game from him. Great defensive player on the perimeter, so he did some good things there, and he scored the ball very well. Julius Randle with 32, 7, and 6. Again, great game, great stat line there. In about 40 minutes, he had 39 exactly. Rudy Gobert plus 18, 9 and 12. That's what you want to see out of Gobert. You want him to do as much as he can to stop Nikola Jokic. We'll get to him in a second, but I don't think that happened. So Nikola Jokic had a crazy stat line, so we'll get there in just a second. DiVincenzo kind of flirted with a triple-double, had 6, 8, and 8. That's a good all-around game. I'd like to see some more scoring from him, as I know that he can score better than 6 points. So Anthony Edwards with a 44 bomb and 6 rebounds, 3 assists. That's a good game from him. He can score the ball very well. He had 14 shots made, and he was a minus 17 on the game. He wasn't the most efficient here, I believe. I don't have exactly how many he shot, but I'm guessing if he scored 44 on 14 made, it wasn't the most efficient 44. Bones Highland had 11 in 23 minutes. That's what you want to see there. Jalen Clark, nothing. Conley, nothing. Terrence Shannon, nothing. And then Johnny didn't play. But then you got Naz Reid, who had 13, 6, and 3. So that's a good game from him in 28 minutes. Again, he's going to be getting thrown at Jokic, so he does as much as he can to mitigate what Jokic does in the game. But, wow, these are video game numbers from Jokic. As I move over here to the Denver Nuggets, before I get to Jokic, I'm going to start with Jamal Murray. He had 35, 2, and 10. Great game from Jamal Murray. The duo of Jokic and Murray really showed out on Christmas. But Nikola Jokic had 56 points, 16 rebounds, 15 assists, and was a plus 15 on the game and knocked down 4 3-pointers and had 2 blocks. Wow. That is a crazy stat line. He did that in 43 minutes in an overtime game. He had 56, 16, and 15, as I repeat that. That is just absurd. Nikola Jokic killed it this game. He was unstoppable. I don't care if you throw Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle. You are not stopping Nikola Jokic. I actually did pick the Minnesota Timberwolves beating the Denver Nuggets in my last video. But, it was a close game. I wasn't too far off. And I did make the take that, hey, the Timberwolves are big, they're long, they're strong, they're athletic. They got Gobert, Reid, Randle, McDaniel. I mean, everyone. I was naming them off. And I was like, hey, they can stop Jokic, or not even stop Jokic, but make him work harder and not have as big of a stat line as he usually does. But it didn't matter this game. Nikola Jokic delivered Christmas presents to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Timberwolves didn't like their gifts, I'll tell you that. So it was pretty crazy to see that. I mean, it's a great thing to see the stat line. It's a great game to watch. I didn't watch this game I didn't watch all of the game live, but I did see some of it, and I'm grateful that I got to watch a game like this, because I know I'm a Lakers fan, but I'm also an NBA fan. I love to watch great historical games around the league, whether that's, Giannis dropping 70, or Trae Young, or Embiid. I love to watch it, and this was a great game that I wish I would have watched fully. I watched some of it, but I'm glad I got to witness some of it, because this is greatness right here. Nikola Jokic is the best player in the league. There's no going around it. I mean, I know you got Shea, I know you got Luka, I know you got, some people are saying Wemby, whoever else is in there, Giannis, Curry, Ant-Man, whoever you want to throw in there. No one is touching Nikola Jokic. I believe he's going to win MVP again this year. I don't know how he's not after dropping something like this, and he stays healthy all year and puts up 25, 12, and 12 night in and night out, and then will explode for, a casual 56, 16, and 15. So I believe Nikola Jokic is the best player in the league. I believe that he will continue to be the best player in the league for however many next years he's going to play. Obviously he's going to slow down, but I don't see him slowing down really that soon. So it was just very impressive to see the Nuggets take down the Minnesota Timberwolves in an overtime game. And it was very fair around the board. I mean, assists were on par. Blocks, Minnesota had more. I want to see the turnovers. Yeah, so Denver actually turned it over more than Minnesota. Field goals were pretty fair. 3-point percentage. That's a big one there. So the Minnesota Timberwolves shot 27% to the Nuggets 44. And then they only made 12 to Denver's 19. Free throw, pretty fair again as well. So it was a very fair game around the board overall. The Denver Nuggets just came out on top. They played better down the stretch, and they won the game. So Nikola Jokic went nuclear. You can't stop Jokic when he gets in the zone. He's just going to back you down, put the little flip up in every single time, no matter who is guarding him. So, yeah, I mean, again, very impressive from Jokic and the Nuggets in this one. All right, everybody, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see my Christmas Day game predictions, please go down to my channel and find the last video that I posted. I did make predictions for Christmas Day games, and then I did recap them in this video. And if you want to find my TikTok, I will leave it down below as well. If you have any comments, please leave them down below. I'll be more than happy to answer them, talk about your comment in a video, or respond to your comment. I really appreciate you guys hopping on. I hope you guys had a good Christmas. I am recording this the day after Christmas. I will be posting it tonight as well, and I do plan on going live tomorrow. Feel free to hop in, ask me any questions, and I will answer those for you. Again, I really appreciate it. I hope you had a good Christmas, and stay safe.